York, England, a young woman vanished without leaving a single clue behind. No struggle, no scream, no confirmed sightings after that morning. And the police? They believed one thing very early on. Someone close to Claudia knew more than they were saying. Investigators later warned, if people keep lying and we prove it, arrests will follow. On February 27, 1974, Peter and Joan Lawrence welcomed their second child, Claudia Lawrence. Her father, Peter Lawrence, was a respected solicitor, and the family lived comfortably in Yorkshire. Claudia studied at the York College for Girls and was known as friendly, social, and full of life. Even after her parents later divorced, Claudia stayed close to both of them. She also shared a strong bond with her sister, Allie. Claudia had a natural passion for cooking. After training at a local catering college, she became a qualified chef and worked in multiple restaurants and hotels in York. But those late-night hours didn't suit her lifestyle for long. She loved family time, friendships, and having a normal routine. So Claudia switched jobs and began working at Goodricke College, University of York. Her employer described her as reliable, punctual, and well-liked. In 2007, Claudia bought a small cottage around 3 miles from her workplace. Nearby was a pub called the Nag's Head, and Claudia often visited. Locals described her as a regular and a friendly face. But behind that warm personality, Claudia kept parts of her personal life private. It was believed she had several short-term relationships, but she rarely spoke about them openly. Wednesday, March 18, 2009. Claudia started her shift at 6 a.m. At around 2 p.m., she finished work and was captured on CCTV walking away on foot. About an hour later, she appeared again on CCTV near the area where she lived. A neighbor also saw her that afternoon. Then at 2:50 p.m., a colleague drove past, offered her a lift, and dropped her right outside her home. That evening, Claudia spoke to friends and family on the phone. Her mother later said Claudia sounded completely normal, relaxed, chatty, and calm. Mother's Day was coming up, and they even discussed plans. Claudia mentioned her car was being repaired, so she needed to sleep early because she'd have to walk to work the next morning. Thursday, March 19, 2009. As 6 a.m. approached, something strange happened. Claudia didn't show up for work. This was extremely unlike her. She was known for being punctual. Her manager called her mobile phone. It rang but went to voicemail. Shockingly, no immediate action was taken. That same evening, Claudia was supposed to meet her friend Susie Cooper at the Nag's Head pub. Susie waited, but Claudia never arrived. Susie tried calling her again and again. Claudia always used her phone, a Samsung D900, so the silence felt wrong. Friday, March 20th, 2009. Susie tried again to contact Claudia, but there was still no response. She contacted Goodricke College to ask if anyone had heard from her. That's when the fear turned real. Claudia hadn't been to work for 2 days. Susie called Claudia's father, Peter Lawrence. He rushed to Claudia's home, and together they searched inside. Nothing looked disturbed. No forced entry, no signs of violence. It looked like Claudia had eaten. Breakfast dishes were in the sink. Her bed was neatly made. Hair dye bottles and gloves were also found, suggesting she had recently dyed her hair. But a few important things were missing. Her mobile phone, a blue rucksack she normally took to work, her hair straighteners. Everything pointed to one terrifying conclusion. Claudia likely left home for work that morning, and something happened before she reached her destination. At around 2 p.m., North Yorkshire Police received the official missing person report. At first, police didn't treat the case urgently. There were no signs of violence, and Claudia wasn't considered vulnerable. Their early theory was simple. She may have gone away for a few days and would return. But Claudia's family strongly disagreed. They insisted she would never leave without telling someone. As days passed, Claudia didn't contact anyone. No bank activity, no confirmed sightings, no answers. That's when the case began shifting into something darker. Weeks passed with no trace. After 5 weeks, police officially escalated the case into a murder inquiry. Several theories were explored: an accident or medical emergency, a random attack by a violent criminal, a serial killer operating nearby. But the deeper investigators looked, the more one theory stood out. Statistically, most victims are harmed by someone they know. Police began focusing on Claudia's personal relationships, especially the ones she had kept private. Crime Stoppers offered a reward of £10,000 for information leading to an arrest and conviction. Police received over 1,000 tips. One witness claimed they saw a woman who looked like Claudia talking to a man on Melrose Gate Bridge at around 5:35 a.m. on March 19th. The man was described as slim build, wearing a dark hoodie with the hood up, dark combat trousers, smoking a cigarette with his left hand. The woman was described as smaller, with mousy brown hair, wearing a blue waist-length jacket. But even with this lid, no confirmed identity was ever established. The mystery man became known as the left-handed smoker. The case gripped the entire country. The Archbishop of York made a public appeal for anyone with information to come forward. Crime Watch later aired a reconstruction of Claudia's final movements. Investigators repeatedly said one thing: they believed people close to Claudia were holding back information. Claudia's phone became one of the most important pieces of evidence. Records showed that in the weeks before she disappeared, she spent time in the Acombe area of Yorkshire. Her phone stayed on until just after midday on March 19th. Then it was deliberately switched off. Cell tower data suggested the phone never left the local area while it was active. Police also discovered Claudia replied to a text at 8:30 p.m. on March 18th. She received another message at 9:15 p.m. She never responded to that one. It was reported the last message came from a man living in Cyprus. Police even expanded the investigation to Cyprus. Claudia had visited several times, and it was believed she had explored job opportunities there. Detectives later said some people were reluctant to share information. In March 2010, police searched areas around York, including a muddy track near a play park, a field near the University of York. But nothing was found. Later, it was believed that the search may have been triggered by false information. New forensics and new CCTV. In 2013, North Yorkshire Police formed a new major crime unit to re-examine the case. New forensic testing found male DNA on a cigarette butt in Claudia's car. 5 years after her disappearance, Crime Watch aired CCTV footage showing a silver Ford Focus driving near Claudia's street. Police also wanted to identify a white Vauxhall Astra van seen parked across from her home for at least 30 minutes around 9 p.m. on March 18th. Several men were arrested over the years. Police believed these men had connections to Claudia or knowledge of her relationships. In May 2014, a 59-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of murder. Later, he was released without charge. In July 2014, Pub landlord Paul Harris was arrested on suspicion of perverting the course of justice. He was also released without charge. Investigators continued to insist. They believed key people were still hiding the truth. On the 6th anniversary of Claudia's disappearance, police released unsettling CCTV footage. At 7:15 p.m. on March 18th, a person was seen walking into the alley behind Claudia's house, then walking back out just over a minute later. Around 5:07 a.m., the next morning another person was seen walking back and forth near the same alley. Police questioned whether this was connected to Claudia's disappearance. In 2016, police asked the Crown Prosecution Service to charge 4 men, but CPS refused due to insufficient evidence. The investigation hit another dead end. Some theories pointed toward convicted murderer Christopher Halliwell. He was interviewed in prison about Claudia Lawrence and denied involvement. Although the witness description of the left-handed smoker matched his build, both North Yorkshire Police and Wiltshire Police stated there was no evidence linking him to Claudia's case. After Claudia vanished, her father, Peter Lawrence, fought for legal reform. In 2019, Claudia's law was passed. It allowed a guardian to be appointed for missing persons after 90 days, helping families manage financial affairs. Tragically, Peter Lawrence passed away in February 2021, without ever learning what happened to his daughter. Claudia Lawrence is still missing. No body has ever been found. No one has ever been convicted. And the question remains the same. What happened to Claudia Lawrence? And who has been hiding the truth all this time?